Both Theophanes and Nonna would die. Nicholas, now a grieving orphan, went to live at the monastery with his uncle. His uncle told him that the wealth of his parents would be safeguarded for him. This meant little to Nicholas at the time. What he truly missed was not his parents' wealth, but their loving care and friendship.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Yes, I know it is 6 days late to be saying Merry Christmas, but I'm sure I could say Happy New Year because by the time you see this, it might very well be January 1st, 2024. So, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year as you get into the 4th episode of the Kedoshim Initiative Podcast, which in this episode we'll be doing a sort of recap of 2023 for the Xplanations and a sneak peek into 2024 and beyond with the plans I have for the Xplanations and things resolving around the Xplanations that I have gotten the release to share and reveal. Because there are some really, really exciting things in store for 2024. I mean, that intro for the audio listeners, you might want to hit the link in the description of the Spotify podcast and may as well go over to watch a YouTube video for it because that was the animation test reel for a virtual production project that I have been working on every weekday. Well, more than weekdays. Well, it's my day job. I've been working on it with Revelation Media on a St. Nicholas, the real story of St. Nicholas short animated film. We'll talk more about that as we go along in the podcast, but that is a real man. It came out so great from this like working in Unreal Engine constantly to actually seeing it edited and put together, all the shots, all the environments. I am the virtual production supervisor, environment artist, and the Unreal Engine coordinator. So basically, my job entails everything that you saw pass through my computer. I do all the rendering, I do all the environment work, setting up the characters in the environments, the birds that fly past, the speed and tracking of the cameras, all of those I do inside of Unreal Engine, and it has been quite the experience. But we'll save that for later on in the video. Let's recap 2023 on what we have done and what we plan to continue to do in 2024. So let's get down to it. And just letting you guys know ahead of time, I'm trying to do the podcast more free-flowing rather than an entirely scripted podcast because we are going to be having some guests on during this year. So the last 3 were heavily scripted, opinionated style stuff. And this one I'm more so just talking off the top of my head as if it's a conversation with you guys. But I'm more so just talking to my monitor screen and spinning in my chair as I go along. So if I'm a bit like flustered, I'm trying to master just non-scripted style content for this year. But let's start talking about what we did in 2023. So we started off this year. My main goal in this year was to pivot the channel away from the Marvel DC satanic, demonic breakdown style videos into more trying to find Christian alternatives to the Marvel and DC stuff, or like rather than continuously continuing to highlight the bad, I wanted to start to elevate the good. And I got frustrated with Marvel stuff and breaking down the comic videos, the comic style videos, and the from Marvel, and just like pulling out all the Christian, well, the shots at Christian theology that I did with Axe Judgment Day, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and all those stuff. Got tired of that in November after Axe Judgment Day. I would not stop harping on Axe Judgment Day because that is a nexus point in my Christian journey and in my YouTube journey, and just like that was a nexus point where I was like, yeah, I'm done with this stuff, just continuously taking shots at Christian theology, even though it's just fiction. And from that, I started to search far and wide in December of last year to January of this year for Christian comics or Christian games, Christian indie games, whatever. There's like any form of Christian entertainment out there that I could start to compile and make a list of, hey, these are solid industry standard gospel infused alternatives to check out if you yourself are just like me and the large demographic of the explanation audience that are tired of reading stuff and watching stuff that continuously takes shots at Christian theology and doesn't have Christian values or morals at heart. And that's the funny thing about it, because people often like misconflate what we want in a sense, or the desire on the channel to be in that everything has to be Christianized, and if it isn't, spreading the gospel, bold professional faith in the first 2 minutes to the last split second of the episode, if it doesn't start with a gospel track and end with a Bible verse and a sermon plot point, it isn't like good entertainment to us or something like that. There were one or two comments throughout some of the videos where people got that perspective from my perspective, and I was like, dude, that is not what we are on at all. We just don't want fiction that is twisting the Bible or taking shots at Christian theology. And it isn't like, like just small little quips and whatnot. It's entire plot points that authors themselves are saying, oh yeah, I went to the Bible for this. Oh yeah, this is inspired by this passage in the Bible, but I twist it because I know I don't care and whatnot. I'm atheist, this, that, and the other. And it's just like, it was cool when it was just superhero good moral stuff, but now it's like fight against God stuff. Like I am firmly on the side of Good Fight Ministries with their naming of the documentary Marvel DC War on God, because that is what it literally feels like a lot of the time. It feels like I'm reading a comic about someone who wants to take a war with God. It's like, yeah, you don't believe in God, but all of your like entire crossover event is a bunch of Bible scriptures twisted, skewed, split together, mixed together all over. It's just like, but geez, I probably need a script for this because I might go on a tangent. But yeah, the goal of this year was to come in and stop with the Marvel Exposed style videos and primarily focus on finding Christian, solid, gospel infused Christian alternatives. And it was a tough search. Like, we went through January not finding any, really. There were like one or two. And then I made the Christian Fiction Sucks video, but I believe it is going to get better, that video. And we found like 3 comics, 2 games, which were Bible X and the I Am Jesus Christ game. And I think not much like video series were out there at the time. But the funny thing about that is after editing that video, publishing it, and trying to find a thumbnail online for Legacy 80, a good photo still of Legacy 80, I randomly in my Google Photos found a picture of the Apostle from the Remnant, a still comic page from the Apostle from the Remnant. And from that, we went and checked out Tribulation Task Force. At first, I was like, is this actually a Christian, proper Christian comic book, and not just like a Christian character inserted into something like how DC had Zatara, who was a Christian sorcerer possessed by Nabu, who was fighting for quote unquote good while being a Christian in the DC universe, giving himself up to be possessed by a being, cosmic being, well, Babylonian god. It is inspired off of a Babylonian god, and he is a Christian sorcerer, but he's fighting for good, so it's okay. And I was so glad that it was not that. It was an actual solid theology, well, with a world building format with solid theology that is the Remnant series. And from that, we broke down all 16 available issues of the Remnant at the time that I was able to find. Well, the 16 issues that were published at the time. And from the Remnant corporate series, got connected to the Starcross catalog and Evan David stuff. And we reviewed all 7 available issues at the time of Evan David's Black Blossom. We did Biblical Proportions issue 1. Then from a promotion in the Remnant, I saw Alpha Red, the Alpha Red series by James Nigel. I'm sorry if I butchered that last name. I need to start getting people's names and last names down. That is a goal on the bucket list for 2024. Where we started to review Alpha Red, which was another cool series, another cool Christian comic book series. And then from there, we did a Relentless Tin Soldier to lock off the comic reviews of the year. Then we started the Kedoshim Initiative Podcast in November with our 37 Christian comic books that we have covered in 2023 video, ranked from best to, I don't really want to say worst, but my least enjoyed, because it's all about building up, not bashing and tearing down, but building up and critiquing with the Kedoshim Initiative. So we reviewed all those comics, and going into 2024, we're gonna continue to review more comics. We're actually gonna have a lot of the comic authors on the podcast going into next year, starting with Bill Robb, Evan David, and James Nigel, and Joe Spicer as well from Starcross Comics. Then I actually am working on my own Christian comic book series with some of those guys, the authors that I look up to and respect greatly for their work with the Christian comics that they have made that serve as really big inspiration for me personally. Evan David is a big inspiration for me when it comes to his writing style of merging sci-fi, fantasy, and Christian fiction in the superhero sense, is to like help me with my comic series as advisors and stuff like that. And I am looking forward to it greatly in 2024. I'll share a little bit of my comic series that I am working on with you guys shortly. Well, but we didn't finish recapping 2023. That is in the 2024 plan section. This year, we also had our Fight the Good Fight Fortnite, well, Unreal Engine editor for Fortnite game. We put that together, which is a Christian hack and slash spiritual warfare based game. Actually planning on turning the Fight the Good Fight aspect, well, just that, into its own game series inside of Fortnite. So we have Fight the Good Fight, Stronghold Takedown, Fight the Good Fight, something else, Fight the Good Fight, something else. I have 3 ideas that I'm in the early concept phase to bring to life in Fortnite, and just want to turn that, the Fight the Good Fight, into like its own separate, I don't know, what's it called, game series made within Fortnite, so that people could, it will be easily accessible. If your phone could run Fortnite, then you can run the game. It will be different spiritual warfare inspired game modes, where the first one was Fight the Good Fight proper, the one that we did this year, was based off of just, well, as I said, fictional spiritual warfare. And then the other one will be about taking down a stronghold, and then more stuff to come with the Fight the Good Fight game series made in the Unreal Engine editor for Fortnite. The next project we had this year is our Parables of the Remnant 4 inspired top-down shooter Christian game. I like saying top-down shooter Christian game, even though it might give the wrong connotation of what a top-down shooter Christian game is. But our Parables of the Remnant 4 inspired game. The most recent build of build 0.02 is up on our website. We'll actually be making a separate section of the Xplanations website at theexplanations.com/projects. Would be, still have to make it. We'll make it probably between today and, well, throughout this week. But that section of the website will be featuring all our projects, the passion projects, my professional virtual production projects, and other game projects that I am a part of, or anything else that comes through from the explanation. So you could go check out our Parables of the Remnant 4 inspired top-down shooter game and play the test build 0.2. We're not going to really touch heavily on that because I did do a devlog 2 weeks ago on the game, on just like the progress of the game, what the game is about, showcasing some of the development, some of the hiccups, the bugs, and stuff. That video will be linked in the show notes of this podcast down below in the description. The other project that we engaged in this year that we sadly lost the source files to was our Pilgrim Progress video game adaptation of the fight against Apollyon, seen in the Revelation Media movie adaptation of the Pilgrim Progress book. Unfortunately, we were doing a lot of live streams throughout the year. I think it was a sum total of, let me check, hold on. Right, so it was over the course of 9 live streams with a total of 30 plus hours of live stream time put into the work on that Pilgrim Progress fight scene adaptation. It was more than 30 hours because there was a lot of bug fixing I did while not streaming, and the source code of the game, the source code that I was using for that game, I developed that doing an Unreal Engine Souls-like combat system course that took me well over 20 plus hours to complete. So most likely that game reached about 70, 80 hours total, including bug fixing, building the source code, and then starting the live stream of development time that I sadly lost due to a hardware malfunction. I also lost the source code to my City of David project that I did last year, and it was so sad because someone, well, sad now, not at the time, but sad. Well, it was sad, really sad at the time. I did my best to try to restore it. Even bought one of those I think is Wondershare's Recover It software program. By the way, let me go on a small little rant. The pricing model of some of those sales as a service things is ridiculous. How could you have $40 for, I don't know if you guys heard that gas truck, the gas truck passing. Hopefully you're hearing it. It doesn't look like it popped up on the timeline. But how could you have a pricing model of, I think it was $20 a month, $40 a year, and then I believe it was $80 for the like full time, well, lifetime license for the software? What kind of pricing model do these companies be having nowadays? It was so weird. I had to, geez, I was annoyed with it. But just like the pricing take, it's like, oh, I needed to like try to recover that hard drive. But it's like, what if I need it? Or the amount of time it's gonna take to recover it would, I don't know, like stretch out for a while, or like would it lock the software if I want to like try to go back to it the next month or something? So I just forked up the cash and bought the lifetime license fee, which I don't even think I used after that. And then it's like those who lifetime license only on one computer kind of software. Where it's just like, Oh, jeez, pricing models these days have been crazy. But yeah, back to it. We lost the source files for that, both the Pilgrim Progress fight scene adaptation game and our City of David game that we made. Well, not really game, our City of David digital replica that we made last year around this time because I made that for my church's All Year's. Now, well, we call it in the Caribbean and Trinidad All Year's night service, but the New Year's Eve service that we had that was themed out of Lodibar, which was heavily based on the story of David and Mephibosheth, Jonathan's son, who, after Jonathan and King Saul died in the account of Second Samuel, can't remember the exact chapter, David went and brought Jonathan's son Mephibosheth to his palace. So it was based off of that passage. That is where I have in it. I have a little piece of Lodibar far away from the city of David that I built, going off of archaeological sources and photos that we come across commonly that of what the city of David most likely would have looked like back then, that you see a lot in the ESV Bibles or Bible illustrations and stuff like that. But even though we lost those source files, for those came the amazing opportunity that is a crazy, crazy testimony or by itself that one day I revealed, not haven't gotten the release to like reveal the end, but like just actually testify of everything, so we could just share us a little of it because it's an entire story that entails 5 years of not being able to get a job, get a driver's license, get a bank account. That's kind of why the YouTube channel, I don't know if you guys realize, the YouTube channel was monetized for a short period of time in July to August, and then YouTube kicked me out the monetization program because of like just back and forth in with ID and stuff like that, because I had to battle with my local immigration here, battle to the point where I was getting scammed by lawyers, and then got to the point where I actually sat down and read the entire Immigration Act of Trinidad and Tobago because I was tired. There was like a really bad depression and anxiety that came whenever I thought about my situation. Can't share the full thing yet, but whenever I thought about the situation, and there was a point of it where I just became like angry at God for the situation because it was like completely outside of my control in the purest sense of that statement. But then I forgot how to complain because to resolve what resolved my situation was literally a law being passed in the parliament of Trinidad and Tobago that perfectly aligned with my situation down to the date. Like I got a CSM. Well, just explain a bit of it. Got a CSME certificate with free movement between Caribbean countries. And before, in order to get it, yeah, would have had to be done a bachelor's degree program. So I started university with the intent of getting the bachelor's degree program at the university that I went to. And I was going through a temper tantrum in about the situation in April last year, which was my last term for my associates. And week I was having my temper tantrum, the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago was meeting to put in place a law where with they were lowering the requirements from having a bachelor's degree to an associate's degree. That with the associate's degree I could get through with the thing called CSME certificate here in the Caribbean. And I was having a temper tantrum that I have to wait like 2 years or whatnot for like my life to like go right and stuff. But literally the week of my final exam for the end of my associate's degree, the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago was passing a law for that completely resolved my entire situation. So like from that now I was gearing up to then go and like got through with everything this year. It was a year-long process, still going through the process. That's why the YouTube channel still isn't monetized. I have to get some prerequisite stuff, or no, our merch store is up as yet till I could get a like bank card and those stuff. And then, well, and those stuff. But I was excited to finally go and just start working anywhere. Like, was gonna like they did up my resume, sent it to my one of my university lecturers, and asked her if I could use her as a reference on my resume. And while I was chatting with some other friends, and I work on another project that one day I'll be able to reveal, while literally checking the like one of the guys said LinkedIn, and I remembered that I sent my lecturer a message over LinkedIn, and I went to check my email to see if she responded to it. And while checking the email response from my lecturer, I see an email from Andrew Labreezy asking to like just do a chat and wanted to chat about my the City of David project that I did, and if I'll be down to do a small scale environment for one of their projects. Literally, getting up to getting ready to send my resume into as many job application spots back in August, to send in my resume to everything, get the reference from my lecturer, send in my resume. I get this email from this Christian director. And from there, started with one small scale environment, and then from one small scale environment, it transcended to daily Zoom calls, to eventually getting a full Corsair Vengeance 4090 PC. And now I am working full time from home working full time remotely from home here in Trinidad. They are based in Texas, working on different projects, including the St. Nicholas project that you guys saw. And here is a snippet of the official commercial that they did for the Kickstarter campaign that raised $30,000, surpassing the goal of $25,000. Here's the commercial for that campaign.
That's why we're making a movie about Saint Nick himself, so people can know the man behind the legend.
Did Saint Nicholas really have a red suit and white beard?
Ask your father. I mean, Saint Nicholas was an interesting guy who... Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know anything about Saint Nicholas. That's why we need this movie. Like, I knew he was a real person, but I don't really know what he did. I saw a video once where he put money in the socks of poor people. But then in the next scene, he did a musical number with a snowman. So I'm not really sure what to believe. My kids are confused about a lot of things.
Help, help!
But Christmas doesn't need to be one of them. If St. Nicholas was a real person, he was a real person, right? Then we need to know about him. Now I know what you're thinking. Why don't I just read one of the many books that are already written about him? I'm a mom. I don't have time to read. But with this movie, I'll finally know the real story of St. Nicholas and why he's such an important person. Who knows? You may end up having that magical Christmas experience with your family after all. Why are there 5 kids?
Most people worldwide have lost sight of the real St. Nicholas, the inspirational orphan whose faith ignited his passion for giving. Today's Santa Claus is a commercialized figure, overshadowing the true origins of Christmas. We are on a mission to change that. With cutting-edge CGI technology and the visionary leadership of director Andrew Labreezy, we are set to create a stunning short film that brings St. Nicholas's story to life like never before. Using Unreal Engine, motion capture, and AI, we will deliver a cinematic masterpiece in record time, all set for this Christmas. But we can't do it without your support. Let's redefine holiday traditions and offer families a more meaningful narrative. Join us in resurrecting the extraordinary journey of the real St. Nicholas, a testament to the power of faith and generosity. By contributing to this Kickstarter campaign, you're not just backing a film, you're spreading a message that will touch millions of families for years to come. As a token of our appreciation, we have a special reward system set up to express our gratitude. From early access to virtual studio visits, limited edition art, and a ton more. Your name in the credits will forever signify your role in making this dream a reality. Be a part of history and help us share the authentic story of Santa Claus with the entire world.
And my experience working with these guys, it has been, as I just explained, it has been so surreal. Because it's like I was trying to forge my own path, thinking that things were going to go this way, going to get a job, save up the capital, eventually incrementally upgrade my 2070 computer that was crashing on me a lot in Unreal Engine, probably give it more RAM to give it more shelf life and stuff, then go into game development. I actually tried to get through with full sales, emerging, the full tuition emerging technology scholarship. I actually sent in I was actually a finalist in the Full Sail Emerging Technology Scholarship, not once, but twice for the January 2023 scholarship. Yeah, the January 2023 scholarship competition wrong and the June 2023 scholarship submission wrong. I was trying to get my own will to play out because like I wanted to do game development academically. I wanted to do that Full Sail. I did not have the money for Full Sail tuition, and I pitched that plan to God on like, yeah, we're gonna do this. He like gave me like different opportunities. What is it to just give me another opportunity? This was before the whole Revelation media stuff. I was like, yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna put this together. I did the project and everything. Got all the way to the final round, talk with the university lecturers on the whiteboard problem solving thing, and failed both times on the whiteboard problem solving aspect of the competition because I have not one lick of programming, actual computer programming knowledge. I like did business in high school, focused on business subjects in high school, and then I did an associate's degree in business management, and everything else has been self-taught through Udemy lectures, not Udemy tutorials, but yeah, like not Udemy lectures. Did Udemy call them lectures? Well, Udemy courses, yeah, courses. Through Udemy courses, Unreal Engine documentation stuff. I read through Unreal Engine documentation a lot, and all the stuff is how I got into like starting game development when I finished my associate's degree last year. Yeah, did I finish it last year? Yeah, last year because I graduated in November. My goodness, yeah. When I finished my associate's degree last year, I pivoted my gaming YouTube channel into going full time with the Xplanation YouTube channel and starting instead of making gaming content, starting to actually learn game development so I could start to make Christian games. And then this opportunity came and landed in my lap. And I was telling the guys in our Discord server because the opportunities like these for me, like these is like what the Kedoshim Initiative is about. Because there's like an entire amazing section on Instagram of just Christian artists doing their own thing in their own subsection. But the thing I find is that with Christian creatives, marketing and getting yourself out there is a huge issue on like proper portfolio works and how to compile a proper portfolio. Because in looking doing with just like with the day job, like trying to get 3D modelers and stuff and having to go through ArtStation to find the amount of stuff that is on ArtStation that is antithetical to Christian well-being is the best way to put it. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. Having to like try to filter through ArtStation, the porn side of ArtStation, trying to find environment stuff and 3D artists and whatnot. Like ArtStation is to my knowledge, ArtStation is the best place to see portfolios and stuff. But then there's no Christian persons, no Christian 3D modelers over there. That well, easy to find Christian 3D modelers over there, and even with mature filters on ArtStation, it is just full blown whenever you want a 3D modeling section of that platform for photorealistic 3D modeling that use real illusion and those stuff. And that was my prompt to really, with what the Kedoshim Initiative is about. The goal eventually is to make it an art station like platform, but for Christian creatives, because they are Christian folks, like folks that I work with, that are looking for Christian creatives for freelance work and to do this kind of stuff. But it's like there's no way to find folks out there without doing like extremely deep dive niche searches. Like no one comes up in any of like Christians with Unreal Engine skill, with 3D modeling skill. And I know a lot of people that do those kind of stuff inside of our Discord. There's some really cool guys that are doing some cool, well, now starting to learn like Unreal Engine and doing Unreal Engine projects. And from just that experience with it, looking through, is what the Kedoshim Initiative is all about, to build that nurturing space for Christian creatives, to connect the Christian creatives to the audience that they are looking for, the audience that is looking for solid Christian entertainment, and to connect Christian creatives to potential job opportunities. And as I said in the Discord, I did a little testimony to the folks in Discord over the weekend, well, yesterday. But I told them in the Discord, I'm not trying to sell you guys a get rich quick scheme, nor am I putting out a job opportunity out there. But I simply hope to give encouragement as you look forward into 2024 with a short piece of my testimony of how I went from not being able to work, finally getting through, to be able to work in the country I live in, to go and send out my resume to every local retail outlet that had an open job position, to then getting contacted by a Christian director who saw my City of David project. It was easily searchable, easily reachable. I was easily reachable, had marketed myself, had the brand and everything, was easy to contact to get through with the opportunity. And there most likely might be a good amount of you. Now, it might not be my same situation with the same people and whatnot, but what opportunity are you potentially missing thinking that you're not good enough? Because like I started, I was like, yo, there's so much experience that I have with Unreal Engine, and I'm gonna sell myself as this like ultimate extreme expert in Unreal Engine. I like let them know one time, like, I have some Unreal Engine experience and game development experience, but I believe in my expertise and knowledge of and problem solving of to like get the job done. And we started with one environment that then turned into this project, and you guys saw with the commercial and whatnot, and I play another scissor reel of an animation to of an environment that I was told I am allowed to share, because they showed it in the production Q&A live stream that we had yesterday.
In his 20s, Nicholas would travel to Myra, one of the largest cities in the Roman Empire. It would be in this prosperous coastal community that Nicholas would lead his first church and, along with fellow believers there, suffer persecution at the hands of the brutal Roman Emperor Diocletian.
And I could tell you guys, a month ago, I did not have the knowledge and expertise. Not a month ago. At the beginning of this year, I did not have the knowledge and expertise on how to put together an environment like that. But now at the end of the year, I could add something like that to my portfolio. So as I was saying, it's about helping Christian creatives connect to other, well, would it be Christian creatives too? Yeah, connecting Christian creatives together to make these awesome Christian entertainment stuff, whether it is comic books, whether it is animated films, live action films, whatever it may be, to set up a platform where it's easily accessible to find Christian creatives on there, or even non Christian creatives that want to align with faith based values to help along in the creation of faith-based value stuff. As I said, this is not putting out a job opportunity or a get rich quick guide, but I am simply hoping to give encouragement as you look ahead into 2024. If you are a Christian creative yourself, with the little piece of my testimony of what God has done for me and what God can do for you. Not saying it word for word that God is going to do the same thing He did for me for you. Because this year I went from trying to cling on to every little opportunity that came my way that was so far removed from God's will that it has caused me some stress coming to the end of the year, to turn it around and aligning myself with God's will for my life that He was revealing. And even when He was revealing His will for my life, I started to try to put my own plans in there and trying to take back the wheel from Him after saying, yeah, God, I gave you the wheel. Because I want to just honestly, truly trust God throughout the process. And I started to truly trust God throughout the process to where I am now, which is a little further in the process, still in the process be processing, but we are much closer to His will personally. And someone in the Discord, Cataclysm in the Discord, asks, what is a read? Because I think it would be beneficial to everyone. So Cataclysm asks in the Discord, how do you come to know what God's will for your life is? And for me, I could just give off of my personal short-lived experience. I'm only 22. And for me, I would say when you try to when it's your plans, if you have to, there's something that Jerry Flowers said. I will link his sermon on trusting God in the know. I think it was sometimes the episode, something, yes. I believe the title of the sermon was Sometimes the Answer is No in his Voices series. And he said that sometimes with God's will, you don't have to force it, but with your will, you have to force it. And I could personally testify to that, where but I was trying to force, for example, but trying to get through the Full Sail Scholarship, there was so much things I had to try to force, to get a garter, to get through with this, to force with the Unreal Engine project that I was trying to do for that. It was like having to force more than just like faith and works. Some people like to say faith without works is dead, and apply to like working or just general work or going out into the world and doing work and achieving goals and stuff. It was like more than just the energy needed to achieve a goal. For me, knowing God's will is your plans. Sometimes you need your plan to fail utterly so that you would know what God's will is for your life. Because I was one where I would take the trust in the Lord with all your heart, do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will make straight your plans, from Proverbs 3, verse 5 to 6. And I would pitch my plans to God, start to work on my plans, establish my plans. There's a scripture that says, commit your plans to the Lord, and He will make straight your path. Or I think some versions say He would establish your plans. And some of us would take it as we go with the idea in our head, co-sign, pray on it, not really waiting for an answer from God on it, pray on it, give it to God, and be like, yeah, this is God said, God, there's me and God riding with it when there's 100% your plans, when you have to supplement the commit your plans to the Lord and trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding, and supplement that with Proverbs 19, verse 21 to 23, which is many are the plans in the mind of a man, but is the purpose of the Lord that will stand. That I had to learn that the hard way of committing plans and supplementing that there are many plans that I have, but it's God's plan that will stand, especially when you truly put your trust and put your trust for like the process. And I'm not talking about like, oh, say, well, yeah, God, I trust you at 5 a.m. and then at 7 a.m. you continuing to forge forward with your own plans after saying, yeah, God, I give you my all, I give you like that full direction in my life and everything. Your will for my life is all that I want, Lord. And then you say amen. And then by 7 o'clock, you're going back to forging forward on your plan that there, God is nowhere there. So I would highly recommend checking out Jerry Flowers. That installment of his Voices series, it helped me a lot with on this, with just like to articulate God's plan versus my plan. And another thing for me personally is godly counsel. Helps a lot with knowing what your purpose is. And that is what God's plan for you is. My godly counsel, main form of godly counsel, is my mother. And she has been like my consulting my plans and stuff, because I'm like, I've from failing heavily with my own plans, I've become like Gideon, where I want the plus. I want God to wet the fleece, dry the fleece, set the fleece on fire, resurrect the sheep. Let's make a barbecue with the sheep. And then I'm like, all right, God in this, because I pushed forward with so much of my plans. I mean, I was doing gaming content creation for 5 years, hoping for that to launch off, only for it to not go anywhere at all. Like, guys, I literally have the logo for my gaming group trademarked in the local IPO of Trinidad and Tobago. The shield for it is literally supposed to represent the shield of faith. That is how far deep I was in my own plans that God was going to take it and make it into this big Christian esports organization. And we were going to have Overwatch League teams, Valorant gaming teams, every single esports team. I was that deep into my own plans. I got it. I have that literally trademarked to my name in Trinidad and Tobago. That's how deep I was in my own plans. And to have my mom is my source of godly counsel. And having godly counsel, especially older godly counsel, because we had a joke as well in the Explanations Discord that no one in that Explanation Discord is meant to like pastor over someone else. In that Explanation Discord, it ain't have no shepherds in the sense that folks coming in there to be shepherd. We all sheep inside of there. Because some folks at a time had a conversation with someone and they were like referencing me as a shepherd. I'm like, I am nobody. I ain't nobody shepherd. I am a sheep just like you. Do not give me that title of shepherd. Even with the YouTube channel, I'm like, yeah, I helped you a lot, fam. I am not your shepherd. I am a nerd just like you. I am. We both sheeps. I just may bleat more at danger, go ba more at danger, or like those sheep when the shepherd call and I walk off first and you ain't hear the shepherd, but because you see that I am walking towards the shepherd, you start to walk towards the shepherd. I am not a shepherd, I am a sheep. That joke with someone in this one. And godly counsel of it's cool now. It's cool to have godly counsel in the sense of friends your age that could lead you, but I fervently believe in what's the scripture? Let me get the scripture because I have it up because I was sending it to someone who I was asking to be an advisor. Well, someone who is an advisor contacted to be an advisor for my own series, which is Proverbs 11, verse 14, where it says, where there is no guidance, a people falls, but in an abundance of counselors, there is safety. So godly counsel is also important. Now, I could say that, like, I'm talking from my experience, so this is applicational, but I would say to pray on it for yourself, for your own situation, but with whoever God provides in your life as godly counsel, is that helps a lot with helps a lot with knowing what your purpose is, because sometimes those persons sometimes you might be so deep in your own situation that you can't really think about it from other, like God, like see it from God's actual perspective of the situation, and that person could look into your situation. Could God could like give them the discernment to help you through your situation and make the right decisions. Because like something my mom always tells me, that God gives me for like my projects and visions, He gives me the end at the beginning, and then I have to make my way towards the end. And with my vision, she has been the one that has been helping me throughout the middle to get towards that end. So having elders and godly counsel is a major pillar for me personally, talking from personal experience and application on knowing what God's will is. Because it's through godly counsel is how I know like that, yeah, what I was doing with that wasn't going anywhere. That was my thoughts, my plans, my desires that I was given the God said, and God I was a really, really dumb God said kid. Oh jeez. Everything. All my thoughts, God said. I could sign God to all my thoughts. Oh jeez. Sometimes I look back at my decision making a couple years back and I cringe of the things I said that God said. But yeah, I hope that helps. I know as I say, I don't have a script. I'm just trying to be a bit more, not too structured with these, and actually make it a conversation. Hopefully, hopefully getting something out of it. Hopefully, I'm not overly rambling. But yeah, let's have some notes and just speaking from my heart. And hopefully, my heart is not confusing. So yeah, that is that has been that segment of the Revelation Media, working with Andrew Librizi and the folks over at Revelation Media to bring this project to life. We're well, continuing to be working on it. You can check out via I think the Kickstarter campaign. There will be a link to the production Q&A that we did yesterday on just like people folks' question towards the project and just what the general gist of the project is. I know the Zoom link was live to all, available to all yesterday. I do believe that when I upload this, there will still be probably 2 to 3 hours left to back the project, but I believe after the project campaign has been taken down, they would set up a link or something. Well, just like something for continuous updates, whether there might be another campaign down the further in the year. Not saying that there's going to be another one. I don't know, but I'm just saying if you want to keep up to date with it, because there's only so much that I can actually share about the project. I only share what is public, what has been publicly published, even though I work on it every day. You could keep updated with it via that. But yeah, that has been it's been an amazing opportunity, and my goal is to hope to with the Kedoshim Initiative to set up a space where a nurturing space for Christian creators where you guys could get those kind of opportunities as well. As I said, it is not, I'd like to put that disclaimer out there so no one gets wrong connotation. I am not setting up any job opportunities in that sense of like, yeah, coming this good and I could guarantee you a job or something, but helping to like help nurture and guide and help give direction in that sense to other Christian creatives. That is what we do in the Explanation Discord. We're just all sheep chilling together, sharing our projects and our goals and giving feedback to each other. Shout out to Hyperstabby. Dude has more messages in that Discord server with his Love Hurts Final Days project than I have in messages in my own Discord server with his comic book series. And Falcon Bread, who, let me share this image with you guys. He is doing a set apart one concept, which would set apart one is more of a self-insert for myself. Yes, a self-insert for myself. I did a tribulation Bell Rock. Okay, transition time. Bell Rock, the creator of the Remnant, gave me the opportunity to get featured as a guest shout out kind of character in the Tribulation Task Force Allies section of the Parables of the Remnant issue 5. No, not Parables of the Remnant, issue 5. Secret Files, The Remnant Secret Files, issue 5. There's usually a tier in the crowdfunding campaign where you do, when you contribute $100 or more, you get to insert yourself into the campaign. But because of the um videos and stuff, the comic book reviews that we did throughout last year, well, throughout this year, he gave me the opportunity to do a character, and this is how the character came out of how I described it. And Falcon Bread, well, Joshua is his name. Falcon Bread is his username on Instagram where he showcases his art stuff, and his name in Discord. And when we play Fortnite and stuff together, he started to work on, without me asking him, he started to work on to make. He heard me talk about the description of it in a video, and he decided to just take that description and to start to turn it into a character that he was recommended to use as the mascot for the Xplanations in 2024 and beyond. It is early draft concept. I think he told me to spend like a couple hours on this or a day to sketch this together, and I am much excited for when he actually finishes this concept, because which is a good transition point actually into my own comic book project that I am working on for 2024. My goal is to get at least one issue of it out this year, either by holidays this year, so around this time next year of 2024. I keep saying this year, around holidays of 2024 or the summer of 2024, whenever, according to God's timing. Which funny, I say that I want to get it out that time, then add God's timing, so it might not even be this year. But to get it out for my own comic book series, which he was on board to be um a concept artist and to actually do the art for it. But instead of him doing the art for that comic series that I'm working on, someone else is going to do the art, and he is going to do concept art for my game projects and stuff, because I have a game idea. Been doing a lot of game passion projects, and I believe I have the knowledge and expertise now to actually launch out and put my first video game out on Steam. And that first video game is going to be named Intercession, which currently early drafting is a roguelike Christian spiritual warfare class-based, ability-based game. Roguelike ability-based game. No, what is a roguelike ability-based game? A roguelike Christian spiritual warfare game where you would be using abilities that are called spiritual gifts in the game that are based off of different scriptures and different scriptures, events, or metaphorical passages from the Bible. So there's a lot of passages in the Bible that talks about the sword of the Lord, or like the sling from the sling of David and the sling that he used against Goliath, or the Battle of Jericho where they blow the shofar, where they blow the trumpet and the walls of Jericho came tumbling down. Gotta translate that into ability where you blow the trumpet and you'll have like defensive buff or attack damage buff in the game and stuff like that. And he will be doing the like concept art and stuff for that game when we get around to it. Have to like work out a contract and all this stuff. So stay tuned for that. My goal is to get that out. The game is currently titled Project Intercession. I think the name of it will be Intercession. It's based on intercessory prayer from Ephesians, the last block of, I don't have the scripture in front of me, the last piece of Ephesians that talks about the armor of God of praying for all saints. That verse is the verse that game is going to be based on, which leads into the comic book that I'm working on that is also going to be tied into that same fictional spiritual warfare concept that I'm currently getting commissioned concept art done by Bought by Blood Comics. When the concept artwork is finished and stuff, we would start to see them roll out in posts and promotional stuff for it. It's going amazingly so far, the concept art that is coming out of it. But this is going to be another Christian spiritual warfare superhero style comic series. It is currently named Adonai's Arsenal. Really love that title, and this is like the logo thing that I put together that will go along with the series. And it's about turning the series is about spiritual warfare, fictional spiritual warfare, but turning the names of God into, when I say names of God, I am referring to Jehovah Rapha, Jehovah Nisi, Jehovah Siskanu, Jehovah Tisri, and different Hebrew and Greek words that are linked to an aspect of God's character. Like as I said, Rapha, Nisi, Kodosh, I think it's Kodosh, Megan, Nake. There's a whole list. I think you would see the entire list of stuff from an article by Bible Life and turning those into superhero style characters, because after seeing what the Remnant did with Christian, the theme of Christian superheroes, and then Evan David's writing with Christian superheroes, and then all the, I think Asprey Comics, Asprey is one of those comic series that I want to get into, but they have their own spiritual gift style system in their Christian comic book series. That is the style of things that I want to do. And the concept art is coming together. Just look at this set apart one concept. Set apart one, the concept of set apart one has been repurposed. So set apart one is a separate character that you'll see in the games like Intercession and other stuff. And then his counterpart in Adonai's Arsenal is named Kadosh, which is a transliteration of the Hebrew word for holy, Kodosh or Kodesh. No, yeah, the Hebrew word for holy, Kodosh. Been doing a lot of Hebrew deep dive to really grasp what the different words linked to, like Yahweh, Jehovah Rapha, Jehovah Nisi, and turning those into superhero characters. And I can't wait to reveal that to you guys throughout 2024. Just giving you a little sneak peek slither of that. There's another series we will be working on as well in 2024. That this one might be much easier to pull off than the Adonai's Arsenal. Is called Parables of the Set Apart. Play on the Kedoshim. The word Kedoshim means set apart ones in Hebrew. From my research, from the research I've done around the internet on what it means, the word Kedoshim, which Kedoshim is a transliteration of that Kedoshim word. And Parables of the Set Apart is aiming to be a captivating Christian anthology comic book series that superbly combines action-packed spiritual warfare and awe-inspiring testimonies following the turbulent journeys of believers from diverse backgrounds as they courageously fight the good fight, answering the call to be set apart. Yeah, I get excited whenever I read that little block description for that series. And with this is an anthology series. A big inspiration for it is for like the actual thing, seeing that, oh yeah, a big inspiration for it is actually Parables of the Remnant, because the parables part of Parables of the Set Apart actually came from Parables of the Remnant, because the Parables of the Remnant comics are some of my all-time favorite. And seeing how Bill Ropp and Evan David and they weave together the stories of Parables of the Set Apart and even Evan David's Strange Tales from Eternity, with how his anthology series all came together and packaged it together, is his style I want to do for Parables of the Set Apart. Here is an image that a friend of mine that I commissioned. She just started getting into doing art. Her passion and pursuit is to do art, and she's a girl from my church that I bought a sketch pad and some art pencils, and we started to like commission one or two pieces from her, and she's been working on this that would work as a cover for Parables of the Set Apart. And the goal of Parables of the Set Apart is to platform some of you guys who are aspiring Christian creatives that aspiring geez, come on, brain and tongue, work together here, work together. that are aspiring to get into the Christian comic book space to create your own Christian comic books. Folks like Steph and Elizabeth, who did the Rescuer series, and Steph, oh, guys, go check out Steph's Instagram new sketches for the next series with the music that she's been using. It's been I can't wait to see when it actually comes out. We'll surely be covering it because I did love what she did with the Rescuers, and I really look forward to this series that she is working on with characters she's putting out. And it's still like I don't know if they still do it. I don't know what the logistics behind it will be. So everything that I say today is subject to change. Sorry for hitting the mic there. My bad. Getting excited. If you guys see me, my hands are like moving all over right now. Everything that I said today is subject to change according to God's will. I'm just talking out of excitement and keeping things hush hush. I've gotten much better at doing that over the past year. For legal reasons too. Oh, jeez, let me continue. But yeah, so to like do how you same way how Evan David did with his Strange Tales from Eternity is to take small snippets of Christian stories by different Christian authors and make it into like a sort of Christian comic book magazine of what is available out there. It might be strictly digital and might do so. I don't know. I don't have the logistics. So I'm not even gonna like talk about that or make any promises or say we're gonna do this or we're gonna do that. But that is the idea. Guys like Joel and his Calvary Academy, a lot of the folks in the some of the folks in the explanations Discord that have been pouring out and explaining this series to us inside of the explanations Discord. I mean, Hyper Stabby has over a 381 381 messages explaining his series inside of the Discord server, and then other folks who are doing their own Christian creative stuff piece it together into a nice comic, and probably even do non-canonical crossover events within the parables of the set apart story. And yeah, that's one of the goals for this year. Yeah, did that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I think it did. I believe it did. But yeah, that is a plan for parables of the set apart. I do have some one or two scripts that I have to rework, but just like Christian anthology series, not putting together actual basis or concrete characters. That is the fun fact of how Adonai's Arsenal started, because I was mixing together, well, doing a draft script of some characters that would be in parables of the set apart, and was liking it so much I decided, nah, I can't have these guys go away and just be part of an anthology. Like, I want to do my own series with these characters, and that is how Adonai's Arsenal, the idea for Adonai's Arsenal spiraled out of. After I did a kind of fanfic, remnant fanfic, which talking about that actually, geez, I'm jumping. I hope I've been recording so long, going non-stop. I hope this is going good. But yeah, I'm jumping. Let me stay in one place right now. Yeah, so that is what Parables of a Set Apart is going to be about. And Adonai's Arsenal came out of Parables of the Set Apart after I did up a remnant, sort of like a remnant collab fan fiction between one of the characters in that wasn't Parables of the Set Apart at first. That is a main character in Adonai's Arsenal called Omega, based off of the Omega part of Alpha and Omega, and inspired by a personal desire of a very close friend of mine. That the character that is being made in Adonai's Arsenal is actually based off of her likeness and just passion and drive. She is one of the youth leaders at my church as well. And yeah, for Adonai's Arsenal. And then there came Adonai's Arsenal out of that. And speaking of the remnant, when I have Bill Rock on, we will actually talk about that more. But I've actually been planning to do a remnant fan fiction story competition after I pitched it to Bill. He's been okay with it, but I've just been like super busy to actually get down to get that Remnant fan fiction competition going. But this year we're gonna have a lot of folks on the podcast. You don't have to have like a big established universe or like even like even if you're just a guest, not just like even if you're just a viewer and you would like to be on the podcast to probably chat and stuff, doing the reading through the form responses. I want to do more of those. That was a really fun podcast installment. The last podcast installment, episode 3 of the podcast, where we look at the responses to the Christian um a look at Christian themes in the favorite shows and movies where folks responded to that form. That was a really fun installment to record and to put out and to see you guys, well, the folks that have been chatting in the comment section about it. So we plan to do more of those and even live call-ons as well for like some of the future installment of the Kedoshim Initiative podcast, where we just discuss different topics and stuff like that. Because like one of the things that sparked a really cool conversation was the whole topic on technology and theology, which is a big segment of the second installment of the Kedoshim Initiative podcast. That in the ranking the 6 Christian tropes, that was a big part of that was a big response point in there as well, and I really like the conversation, the comment conversation that sparked about that, and that I read out in that podcast installment that even went on to folks even wanted to talk about, some folks in the comment section went on to talk about it more in the comment section of the shorts that I did resolving around that podcast installment. I mean, I guess there's plenty of comments is usually like, oh, shout out to Ernest, dude, Ernest has been commenting under everything, and if you're watching to this part, just know that I greatly appreciate your comments and your support. He's been commenting under pretty much every post, video, short that we've had in the past, like, I think couple 6 months. Well, it's ever since he's found the channel, he's been commenting and stuff consistently, and I just want to say shout out to him. And shout out to pretty much everyone who has found the channel and supported the channel this year. This year, I was posting that the channel hit 500 subscribers. And now, according to YouTube's My Year on YouTube 2023 review that is sent out to when you create YouTube content, blanket analytics, this blanket summary of everything, all the growth of the channel this year, we have gained 3,471 new subscribers, got 444,700 new views, or 444,000 views to the channel over the course of 300 uploads, has garnered 19.2 thousand likes, with over 1,017 comments and 1,541 shares, with a total of 5 million impressions. An impression is every time someone sees the thumbnail, and just the fact that the videos have been reaching that much people is like a wow. Wow factor is the best way I could put that. It has been quite an amazing year. It's been quite an amazing year. And I just want to say thank you to everyone for supporting, for watching the videos, for tuning into the podcast. I mean, with every podcast installment, out of the 200 people that tune in, 70 to 100 of you are returning listeners to the podcast that watch more than half of the podcast all the way through. Even when they stretch into like an hour, 30 minutes like this one, I honestly thought that this one would have been a simple 40 or 30-minute thing. But I keep lying to myself. Like, Xavier, you need to stop lying to yourself when you do these things. I go on my tangents and I talk, and I realize that you guys have been enjoying it, so I need to stop apologizing for when I go on it, because you guys do seem to be enjoying them. So I just want to say thank you for all your support in 2023 and support going into 2024. 2024 with all the projects that I have chatted about. If you want to see the full breakdown of what Adonai's Arsenal is, I would be posting it in our Discord server. Yes, I am tailgating that behind our Discord server. It is free to enter. Come in and chat with us. Let me know what you guys think. If you have your own series, you could go down to the Christian Creative section and open your own thread so that you can get feedback about your series and stuff. And just a scripture I want to leave with us as I close off is the scripture my mom gave to me when I first started with my Christian YouTube channel that I fervently believe was going to be as big as Freeze Clan. Back in 2017, and she gave it to me when I started Xplanations. When I told her about my desire to start Xplanations and everything, is Zechariah chapter 4, verse 10 in the New Living Translation, which says, "Do not despise the small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin." And as I said in the just short testimony snippet I was giving to the folks in Discord, that Zechariah 4 verse 10 is one of the motto scriptures of the Kedoshim Initiative, because the start with those small beginnings can be discouraging, but I can assure you, once you stay the course and you are following the path God has paved for you in whatever way it may be, making sure to put out the distinction, not your own plans that you then pitch to God after the fact and be like, yeah, me and God, we got this, and God is going to establish my plans. Not talking about those kind of plans, but the plans that are in perfect alignment with the path that God is paving for your life, whatever it may be. It will be well worth it in the end. That path may not be anything identical to mine, where you land a virtual production job after 5 years of not being able to do anything. I would one day share that full testimony on what, like when I say anything, guys, I literally couldn't do anything a normal human would have been able to do at the age of 18 or 21 of getting a driver's license and back account. Still don't have a driver's license and stuff. Things be processing. The process is processing. But whatever God's perfect will for your life is. So as we end this installment of the Kedoshim Initiative podcast, where I share with you some of the things that have been just looking back at the year of 2023, looking forward into the year of 2024, as we end off this installment and we go into the new year, I really, really do pray God's perfect will for your life. And I pray that you begin to pursue God's perfect will for your life. As I say, it comes in different ways and different sizes. It mightn't be the same as mine, but whatever His perfect will is for your life, I pray that that is what comes to fruition. Amen. So with that, we have come to the end of the fourth episode of the Kedoshim Initiative Podcast. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. This one was much more free-flowing. I spoke from my heart rather than from my script for the first time in a while. Been doing a lot of scripted videos and just wasn't feeling to really spend 3 hours to script something and then have to spend another 2 to read it, rather just do a 1 hour tangent. Well, not tangent, because we were structured enough. Yeah, just to speak from my heart for this episode, just talking about future goals and looking back and being thankful to God for what He has done for me in 2023, and hopefully that gave you guys some encouragement as we go into 2024. So yeah, that's it for this installment. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Be sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. Give it a good rating over on Spotify. Make sure to like it on Spotify. Put it in your recurring podcast episodes. There will be an episode every 2 weeks going forward. We will be starting interviews at the end of this month with the different Christian creators and stuff that we have reviewed on the channel. Or might be I think it might during the first episode of next year would be an interview. Don't know 100% as yet. We'll see the announcements and stuff, but just want to say thank you for your support once again, and do enjoy the rest of your day. Go see the fireworks, go spend time with family, whatever you do on this Old Year's night. We in the Caribbean, we call it Old Year's night. And even though it says New Year's Eve on the calendars, we call it Old Year's night. So whatever you do on an Old Year's night, the day before New Year's Eve, hope you enjoy and make sure to keep God at the forefront and make wise decisions. Make decisions that are aligned with your God-given purpose. Don't do anything dumb tonight. I've done a lot of dumb stuff on New Year's Eve. Dumb stuff in the sense of like in regards to fireworks and firecrackers. Yeah, anyway, that's it. Bye.